Hey, what's up, you guys? It's YouTube's favorite Super Saiyan, TrapGoku here with another video. Today is the first episode of my standalone solo podcast, Higher Thoughts with TrapGoku. Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope you guys really enjoy it. It's something new I'm trying out, and I'm going to really work hard to make sure I can get this out at least every 2 weeks, or at least monthly updates on this. So, yeah, I wanted to start the series to give my raw and uncut thoughts on just various topics, kind of not even in rapid fire, but really get down and break these topics down and really just slash them open like I do in my videos, but in a more, I guess, raw and authentic version of myself. Um, Thank you guys to anyone who's new joining the podcast, and to anyone who's old. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, comment. It helps the channel grow. And if you want to help me keep the lights on, the link to my Patreon will be in the description box below. But let's get into it. The first and the biggest thing I wanted to talk about, because there's been a lot of stuff that's going on in the last, I guess, week and a half or so, is the major situation surrounding Spider-Man. Now, if you guys don't know, apparently the deal that Disney and Sony had with Spider-Man has officially come to a close. And to give you a little bit more background information on it. So, as you guys know, Disney owns much of the movie rights to almost every Marvel character out there right now. After its acquisition of Fox, it owns Captain America, Iron Man, the rest of the Avengers, and now X-Men and the Fantastic Four. However, there are a couple characters that Disney does not own, and one of the characters that Disney does not own the movie rights to after Marvel sold them back in, I think, 2008. I mean, not 2000, yeah, 2008, I think, or 2003, somewhere around that timeline. Sony actually owns the movie rights to Spider-Man. And so all those movies that you've seen Spider-Man in, as far as Civil War, Spider-Man, Homecoming, those were co-produced by Sony and Marvel Studios. And the deal worked out something like this. Sony would allow Marvel to use the character. However, for all those solo Spider-Man movies that were made, Sony would pretty much take 95% of the profit, even though Marvel would be producing and making these movies. However, in the Spider-Man crossover movies like Avengers and Captain America Civil War, Marvel would take a majority of the profit. And this was kind of how the deal was going for the past couple years, ever since we saw Spider-Man and 2016's Captain America Civil War. And it had been working for a long time, but there had been a little bit of tension, and a lot of people, a lot of my friends even thought that one day, Spider-Man's a successful character, and his success has even been bolstered with the successful Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, his appearance throughout the MCU, which has been very successful, Tom Holland being a very great socialite, and the fact that the Spider-Man video game for PS4 was a tremendous success. The character's popularity has bolstered tremendously and has made him extremely marketable and extremely profitable. And Disney kind of saw this since, Spider-Man, if you don't know, Spider-Man Far From Home has broken $1 billion and did it kind of easily, seemingly like. So Disney wanted to kind of grab in and cash in on that character, so they kind of went to Sony and was like, hey, we want 50% of the movies that we're producing, or yeah. And a lot of people are saying that, and this is where a lot of the negative comes in on Sony's side, because a lot of people are actually saying this is Sony's fault, but no, Disney actually wanted 50% of the movie, since of the Spider-Man solo movies that they were co-producing with Sony. Sony said no, but they did send back someone to reconfigure the deal, maybe give them, I don't know, I can't say the exact percentage, but they were obviously offering them more than what they had been receiving, which was the 5%. Disney ultimately declined this, and now it seems that Sony and Disney are going their separate ways. Also, the third Spider-Man movie will not be produced by Kevin Feige anymore, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, this merger really is a big blow to Spider-Man fans all across America and all across the world. Tom Holland's MCU run might be over, seemingly, and this is pretty bad. Really bad. I mean, a lot of fans had invested a lot of time, a lot of emotions into this actor being a part of the MCU family, and I mean how the MCU set him up to be the next Iron Man or the next big Avenger. kind of makes that whole idea fall flat on its face, and it hurts. It really kind of hurts, especially me as a fan, and I know a lot of fans, who really enjoyed Tom Holland's run in the MCU. He had a big impact. He made Tony Stark a more sensible and even more likable character than he already was with their father-son relationship. And to kind of see him go due to more or less what I would see as corporate greed or just people wanting more money or top billing, it's just one lame ass pissing contest, and excuse my French for that. And I think people just need to really get over themselves and reevaluate the relationships that they want to have, especially if they want to be successful business relationships. That's the big part of all of this, and I feel like a lot of people kind of forget about that point. I really hope that, you know what I'm saying, just like with the James Gunn situation, how he was taken off and, Disney kind of stood their ground. I hope Disney kind of looks at this and sees the loss in this and reaches out to Sony on some hey, sorry about being really petty and childish. We really still want to work with you. And Sony is kind of gracious enough to accept that apology and kind of go forward with Disney. Because, with Spider-Man, especially MCU Spider-Man, there has been so much success and so much, great and positive energy produced from that character. I would really love to see that continue to flourish on the big screen through Tom Holland. And this is not speaking from a Spider-Man fan, but someone who enjoys good movies and film, because those were great movies and great films. Another, situation that occurred, and this is kind of one of those offhand situations, is going to help me segue into my next point, is the developers of the new Avengers game actually are distancing themselves from Spider-Man. And after this, seemingly, a lot of you guys don't know, the developers of the new Avengers game that will be coming out next May 2020, Crystal Dynamics, when asked at Gamerscon, which went down this last week and a half, if Spider-Man PS4 was actually set in the same universe as the Avengers, they sternly said no. Spider-Man PS4 has nothing to do with the Avengers. This is our own universe, our own thing. It was kind of a little, I don't know if they really took it as them trying to distance themselves because of the situation with Disney and Sony at the time, but to kind of do that and kind of say, oh, we don't have anything to do with Spider-Man, it's a little lame. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, maybe that's not how they meant it, and maybe that's not how they inferred it, so let's not even put words in their mouth or put motives in their mindsets or anything like that. But I thought that was just something interesting to report on or bring up. I just thought, why would you maybe it was the context. Maybe somebody over contextualized something. But this does segue into my next point of Gamerscon, because it was a little upsetting to hear that Spider-Man won't be connected to the Avengers. It would have made for an awesome, universe / world to kind of see maybe an older Spider-Man, even older than the one we got, or see how Spider-Man will actually interact with the Avengers. Seems pretty cool. But Gamerscon happened, and a lot of, content happened at Gamerscon. A lot of games got viewed. For those of you who don't know what Gamerscon is, segueing into that, Gamerscon is a big event where games trailers are put on full display. It's show me what you got, baby. Gamerscon is showing pretty much finished content, or content that's heavily in development or close to being finished and greenlit for a release date. So one of the bigger trailers that they showed, which they hadn't really shown much of, just small trailers even at E3, was the Avengers game coming out in 2020. The Avengers game is looking sick. They showed a 20-minute demo of pretty much, I guess, the opening tutorial level that we'll be playing. Pretty much it showed the segue between all 5 of the playable Avengers, and that ranged from Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain America, and Hulk. So going in the order really much for which the gameplay went down, first we got to see your boy Thor just fly through the skies and just rip stuff up. The game is looking to be kind of like a linear beat 'em up in a sense. All the levels seem a little linear laid out, and it may be for the cinematic over the top view, or maybe these are just mission points and the game itself might have slight open world or hub world like area. So you know what I'm saying? That might be interesting to see, and it's like semi-explorable, semi/slash linear beat 'em up, because that's what it's looking like from seeing how Thor's level progression progressed. But then again, we haven't seen the full game, so this is just my speculation. Thor just comes in, he just starts knocking heads. He's like hammering stuff. He's throwing the hammer, getting it back like Kratos. He's gosh darn summoning lightning bolts. He's just wrecking stuff. And I have to say that the gameplay looks like it feels so good. It looks like it feels so satisfying, from the effects to the particle effects to the grittiness of the world. Nothing feels too much. It feels completely balanced and clean, and everything feels like it worked really well in the demo and in the 20 minutes that they showed us. Thor's gameplay goes on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it shifts into Tony Stark's gameplay. Tony Stark's gameplay is very interesting. Iron Man has a completely different moveset. He kind of does this little dance like blast with the repulsors where he's on the ground, and for heavier repulsor shots, his hand kind of like sways back a little bit more from the recoil of the blast than lighter ones. It was crazy to see Iron Man and Thor take full capable use of their freaking flight. There's just no delay. They can literally just jump from the ground into flying with just like that, and I felt like that was really good. And being able to just blast stuff with their lightning or their gun, or Iron Man's repulsor, and his various other missiles and things like that, because they did demo I guess seemingly the Jericho missile, and that looked really insanely awesome. Going into the next game play they showed was for Hulk, that segued in from Iron Man section. Now Hulk's section of gameplay was looking super sick. Hulk was running around destroying stuff. He was literally doing Hulk smashes, Hulk ground pounds, running on walls, throwing cars. It looked like a complete blast to play as Hulk. Need to remind you that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of these cutscenes is, it showed the game looks amazing. You know what I'm saying? Looking at it, it looks like it's really amazing. Looking at how it transitions seamlessly, there's no load, there didn't seem to be any lag. Debris and everything looks good. The graphics look great. The character models look insanely beautiful. This is really just looking and shaping into a great experience of a game that I cannot wait till May 20th to get May 2020 to get my hands on the Avengers game. But going into it, Hulk just starts wrecking face and boom, and just starts running up, beating tail, just knocking heads, and it's going digital. In the trailer, we get to segue into the next part, which would be Captain America's gameplay, and seemingly the Avengers have been set up. Captain America just starts taking on a wave of soldiers, knocking heads. He's shield bashing, he's throwing that shield, bouncing it off people, kicking it back to people, blocking. Some characters, and I love how this level, I hope the levels kind of stay like this first level, where each of the characters' main strength is tested. So you kind of feel uniquely skilled when you get to play really good as Cap, as opposed to when you uniquely feel skilled in a different way playing as Hulk. And I feel like this game really highlights that, because with Cap you got to play a little bit more strategic in your takedowns and how you're going to take them down, and as well as your shield bounces, and knowing when and when not to block, when to attack, when to throw the shield, because I feel like when you throw the shield, Cap's is vulnerable, when to use his AoE attacks to control. I feel like these are going to be factors that come into playing the different characters. And seeing it through Cap firsthand is whoa, this is pretty good, because Cap really doesn't have any superpowers, but he does have some fancy moves and some really great tech. The next character that they really segued, which I'm glad they saved her gameplay for the end, because her gameplay was sick. That being Black Widow. Black Widow's gameplay was incredible. Seeing her chase down Taskmaster. And Taskmaster was looking really cool too in this game, not gonna lie. Seeing her chase down Taskmaster, jump on his back and fly through the city of, not the city, but fly through the freaking Manhattan Bridge, and not Manhattan, I think it was the Golden Gate Bridge. Fly through the Golden Gate Bridge as it's getting destroyed from his terrorist attack, beating into him, going hand to hand over a detonator that could have possibly destroyed the entire bridge in one foul stroke. it was incredibly sequenced, really well paced, really good timing. I feel like Black Widow really did her thing out there. She put the hands on Taskmaster. Her combos looked insanely quick, insanely fast. She looks like she's a really fast-paced character, really fast-paced fighter, and you're gonna have to think on your feet a lot of times. She seems to have this little cable thing, which really doesn't seem to have like an effect cooldown. She can just literally Spider-Man to her opponent and just lay the hands real quick and then jump off them, so like a hit and run style character. And it really looks good to play as Black Widow, especially with some of her more acrobatic flips and specialty takedowns that she used, which were literally copy and pasted from the Avengers movie. Which really kind of sells my point, which is kind of like one of the biggest selling factors of the game, is how well or how much it takes from the MCU. Because looking at it now, even though a lot of the character designs are somewhat different, a lot of it corely takes from the MCU. Like Hulk's whole demeanor and design is MCU Hulk. And with copying, and not really copying, but seeing how well the MCU was able to replicate these characters and taking note and putting them in and adding your own little spin on it is really like pretty cool, because the MCU really set a bar for that. And to see like all these nods and all these like, because there were some screens where like when Black Widow flipped somebody, it literally looked like frame for frame from when she used to do it in the Avengers movie. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson, baby, you always gonna be fine, marry me girl. But anyway, moving right along, you know what I'm saying, Black Widow's gameplay was sick. And then there was like the cliffhanger ending where like the Avengers seemingly lose. And like, yo, it was crazy. It was just sick. It was sick. It was sick. However, this is the part where things get a little bit wonky. So, first off, we have a huge conspiracy where it seems like the Avengers are seemingly set up, and Cap is supposedly dead at the beginning after the first level. And for the most of the game, Cap is apparently dead. But I don't really believe Cap is dead. I feel like he might have figured out something crazy was going on and might have escaped. I don't know. However, we're going to find out when that game comes out on 2020. We also get a cameo from Miss Marvel in the beginning. I don't know if y'all caught that or not. But the girl who was wearing like the Captain Marvel like shirt, that might have been Miss Marvel. They seem to have the same ethnicity. So... and it would make sense, during the time skip, the girl would be about the same age as Miss Marvel, who started fighting crime. So it's looking very interesting. We've got a lot of major players, a lot of major pieces being put in play. Also, from when Black Widow fought Taskmaster, it seemingly put that there's something bigger going on here, and that Taskmaster isn't the end of this, but more like a symptom. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the story of Avengers 2020 is going to play out in a console near you. So hopefully we'll get more on that as time progresses. The next big game that came out at Gamerscon that I really want to get into, that involves a little known Super Saiyan, one who I get my name from, of course, is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is looking like to be a very, very, very interesting game, being developed by the guys who brought us the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series on the PlayStation and Xbox 360. CyberConnect 2. These are also the same guys who brought us some Dad Hack games and Ashura's Wrath. And to be honest with you, DBZ Kakarot is looking a whole lot different, or supposedly being set up as a whole lot different than the normal Dragon Ball Z games. Now, looking at the Gamerscon footage, they only showed us a little bit more stuff. They didn't really show us too much gameplay, but they showed us like a unique little gameplay cutscene hybrid trailer that was about 2.5 minutes. It displayed more gameplay options as you get to see Super Saiyan Goku fly in the overworld and Piccolo do some driving and things like that. We also get to see that the story is going to continue all the way up to where Gohan fights Cell naturally. And we get to see a nice little cutscene with Gohan and Goku doing the father-son Kamehameha helplessly against Cell, who was like, I'm gonna kill everybody. But it's looking really good. The guys at CyberConnect 2 are really doing a good job to keep that authentic Dragon Ball Z manga look as well as the new look. While it's being presented as an RPG, it kind of looks like it's straight out of like an arena-based, Xenoverse style game, which is kind of a little bit my issue. I feel like the RPG elements are going to be on the back burner. So, you know, hopefully they won't though, and hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it'll be a lot more fully customizable combat, and you know, more things you can do besides you know, fling kamehamehas at you or at other people. And hopefully there's a plethora more side missions, because they did show a little bit more side missions with Goku helping Aider or Android 8. If you guys don't know from DB OGs like myself. Yeah, he's gonna be helping Aider out on some side missions, and so it'll be interesting to see what side missions Goku's actually gonna go on. There are some concerns though. It does look a lot like Xenoverse combat wise, so I'm hoping maybe they refine that combat system, or maybe there's some like new mechanics being added to make it a little bit deeper, a little bit more risk reward for combat. So hopefully the RPG elements are deep, and you know, it's not some basic affair, because that'll be really disappointing if this gameplay is all we see is what we get. But segueing into the next game that I've been seeing a lot of at this Gamerscon is Cars. That's right, we got Need for Speed making its return with Need for Speed Heat, the newest game in the Need for Speed saga. So Need for Speed Heat is bringing back a lot of, you know, game features that seemingly made Underground a good game. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, to do things that made one game good in your game. You know, introducing cops, day-night cycle, you know, you competing in street races, earning up rep. Cops are going to hunt you down harder, and nighttime, and if you have more rep. You know, it's not bad to do these things. It's just going to be how they execute and how it's going to be feels to execute this, because we still didn't really see any gameplay of it, which was kind of weird. But, you know what I'm saying, hey, if it feels good in that execution, I'm pretty sure people will buy it. So hopefully maybe we'll sell this game, especially for a racing game or a fighting game. What sells it on a lot of times is, how does the game feel? Does it feel satisfying to win races? Does it feel satisfying to make turns, escape cops, do sick drifts? Drop a demo for us so we can get it out to the public and get that general consensus of maybe what needs to be tweaked, because a lot of times when these games do demos or special releases, the right people aren't asked the right questions, so we don't really get the optimal experience that everyone can really enjoy. And I feel like that's what Need for Speed Heat is trying to go for, and trying to rebrand. It's trying to like sell itself in this endeavor. So that'd be a good idea to, you know what I'm saying, get it going. However, some positive things I saw in Need for Speed Heat was that customization, baby. Boy, that customization is looking crazy. You know, cars, you can, you know, change the curvature of your round, how curvy you want your car, basically. And that's really wild. You can customize everything down to the exhaust of, you know, how it sounds. Literally, how your car sounds. You can edit that, which is crazy. Details look great, you know what I'm saying, graphics look beautiful, the cars look hella realistic, hella fine, hella great. I am just, you know, excited to get my hands on it, but you know, I want a demo that really like lets me get a feel for the game and what I'm gonna be getting myself into, because I don't, like I said, they're not showing enough. They're telling us a lot, and I don't, from what they are showing us and the limited amount of footage they're showing us of Need for Speed Heat, I feel like we just need to get our hands on it to get a feel of the game, because I don't want it to be like a Watch Dogs experience where the driving's very crummy but the game looks alright, or it's not really built up right. You know what I'm saying? Next we have the OPM, that One Punch Man. That boy Saitama somehow snuck his way into Gamerscon. He's been doing it for a minute. So if you guys don't know, the great hero himself, Saitama, created by One, has a video game coming out called One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. So, you know what I'm saying, basically this is gonna be going over, I guess, seemingly the first season, maybe first 2 seasons of One Punch Man, as Saitama goes around the various city beating the crap out of monsters, what he does best. So it's looking to start off very interesting to say the least. Like Saitama's looking super cool in this. And every character is looking really good. I want to say that the character designs look really good. They look like they really stuck to that manga look. I'm getting those My Hero Academia vibes from this bad boy. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. The gameplay looks very interesting. So the gameplay works out like this. You don't automatically get Saitama, it seems like. It seems like from the story you kind of have to like hold your own, or from the gameplay you have to hold your own against super strong enemies. So like say for example you play as maybe Genos, whose stats are made way weaker than who you're fighting, and your job is to make it till Saitama gets there, and there's a counter showing Saitama running to the fight, and the counter's going down the longer you fight, so you just gotta hold out until Saitama gets there. It's a very interesting gameplay design, and then when Saitama gets there, he kinda knocks out the dude. His stats are overpowered and he can one-shot people. Like I said, it's a very interesting gameplay design, but in execution, you know what I'm saying, it's weird, and I don't feel like the player's gonna sign up for that every time, because you already know that when Saitama gets there, you're gonna beat the dude, so it's over with. Just a matter of a battle of endurance, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see. They also released a lot of new characters, they released Bane, Tatsumaki, you know what I'm saying, who they showed as characters who I guess can come in and play the role of Saitama when Saitama's not there, because they're overpowered too. But like I said, we're going to have to see this game play out. Hopefully they'll have a PvP where you can play as these different characters and their stats are balanced, and they can sell a genuine fighting game or an arena fighter. But until then, I'm not really invested in this game, unfortunately. So I'll just have to wait to see how the game does and to see more from the game, honestly, before I can really say I'm really invested. But yeah, so pretty much Gamerscon, like I said, it's pretty much my games that I'm really taking away, and then I'm really gonna look more into is definitely that Avengers 2020. Look out for that. Look out for them playable characters. And like I said, Square Enix has also announced Ant-Man as a playable character in this, so he's gonna be coming later on in some free DLC. Next, we have DBZ Kakarot, the new RPG from CyberConnect, the action RPG adventure. I'm really gonna look forward to that. Look forward to that fighting arena. It'd be nice if they dropped a demo too, as well as that Need for Speed demo, just so we can get a feel for that gameplay, and get a feel for what we're gonna be getting ourselves into. Because like I said, there's gonna be a lot of information I feel like left on the table that's not really giving us enough to really full on invest to that pre-order. But like I said, just give it time. I'm pretty sure more features, more data, more information, more gameplay will be coming out in the near future. And lastly is that One Punch Man. So like I said, with One Punch Man, the same thing I've been saying with a lot of these other games. It's gonna be very hard for me to invest into it until I see a lot more, because like I said, I feel like, we're only getting bits and pieces of the story, and we're not really getting the full idea, the full context of how this game is going to play out, other modes that we want to see in this game. So that's a big thing I think that a lot of people want in their fighting games, is a variety of modes, so they're not just playing the same 1v1 or different things like that. King of the Hill, that's a fun mode. Survival is always a fun mode. A training mode, please don't make us pay for a training mode. Don't do no DLC or no crazy stuff like that. And DLC too, don't try to milk DLC. Be fair, is all we're saying. Because we know there's probably going to be One Punch Man DLC. They're probably going to put Garo or Atomic Samurai or King, or just some dummy character like that. Anyway guys, this has been the Higher Thoughts podcast. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys really have an awesome, super cool day. Thank you guys, old and new fans, for joining up with us, and well, not us, me. And I thank you guys for your time today. Like I said, please rate, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. If you want to help me keep the lights on, link to my Patreon will be in the description box below. I hope you have a great day, you guys. You know what I'm saying? And be blessed. Put one in the air for me one time. Hold it down, you guys. Also, hit me up if you guys want to collab together. Peace.